I'm gonna have this steak and I'm gonna lose weight, and I'm gonna show you how. Hello, I'm Dr. Sam, this is Dr. Sam's Health, and today I would like to talk to you about fasting. Not necessarily intermittent fasting, but specifically about short fasts. You see, there are so many videos on YouTube, people talking about intermittent fasting, about fasting like it's a new miracle that nobody has ever heard of, that it cures obesity, diabetes, cancer, you name it. Intermittent fasting is the way to go. I'm not particularly skeptical about it. I actually believe that it's a great approach, but I would like to talk about one specific aspect of fasting. Couple of disclaimers before I begin, and then I'll continue with my introduction actually. So first of all, I'm a practicing physician, but it doesn't mean that anything I say here on YouTube or on my blog at drsamshealth.com, check it out, is a medical advice. Nothing I say is a medical advice. It's never meant to be like that. It's just merely educational videos that I make for fun, education, entertainment, and obviously I express certain opinions here. They are well informed. Normally, I read a lot, I study my stuff, but these opinions do not necessarily represent the opinions of my regulatory bodies, my college, my university, and so on. So we're done with the disclaimers. Let's talk about intermittent fasting. Oh, sorry, fasting in general, and actually both. So first of all, lots of people are talking about intermittent fasting being super helpful for weight loss. I actually do intermittent fasting normally because I skip breakfasts and usually I don't eat until late in the evening, and I'm pretty much a big proponent of something that I would call one meal a day or MAD approach, but quite frankly, I still believe that it is based on calories in, calories out. It's easier to control your nutrition, nutrient intake in general, caloric intake if you eat once a day. It's actually hard to overeat if you are following this schedule. I believe that there are certain benefits to intermittent fasting or to fast in general, but things that people are talking about in mass media, on social networks, on YouTube, all these claims being made about intermittent fasting being miracle, I think they are overrated, to say the least. But let's not focus on weight loss today. I will actually make a special video about intermittent fasting and weight loss, and I will show you that it is highly overrated. It's still calories in and calories out. But today I would like to talk about fasting and its effects on cognition. You see a lot of people again on YouTube are talking about intermittent fasting, giving them some sort of a mental clarity, uh, enlightenment, you name it. And it kind of makes sense and it kind of doesn't. The way it makes sense is very simple actually. Every time we eat, especially if it's like a food rich in carbohydrates, we tend to have this postprandial relaxation. We get into rest and digest mode, and we tend to just relax, enjoy our lives, and we're not very prone to make discoveries, work hard, and so on. Because what's the purpose of life from the evolutionary standpoint? To satisfy your hunger, your sexual instincts, and to protect yourselves. And if you have satisfied one thing, you won't feel like running around and hunting, right? In nature. In our lives, we have the saying that artists and scientists have to stay hungry in order to produce good results, and we see it a lot actually. As a scientist, I can attest to it. I don't have many good ideas when I'm really well fed. But what doesn't make sense about fasting leading to some sort of a cognitive improvement is the fact that when you are going on a fast, you are cutting off the supply of nutrients to your body, including your brain, and your body should take at least like 12-16 hours to adjust to it and to start mobilizing fats and carbohydrates from glycogen and delivering it all to the brain. So it's totally understandable that when people are on a short fast, they start feeling that, you know, their brain is not there. They have some sort of a mental fog. Sometimes we call it keto flu. And when we're going on a longer fast, your brain is supposed to adapt, actually. And it should happen relatively quickly. Again, if we look at the human evolution, you know, if you are not able to get some food for a day or two, your brain shouldn't shut down. Your brain should actually activate itself and make you more capable of like running around, hunting, hunting, gathering, whatever you're doing, whatever we were doing thousands of years ago. And actually, Dr. Jason Fung brings a good point that when people are going on a fast, there is an activation of sympathetic nervous system and mobilization of all these things. And it sounds great in theory, but as somebody who actually practices intermittent fasting and fasting from time to time, actually it was ingrained in me in medical school. We remembered that a long time ago, before we had medications, one of the treatments, and still one of the treatments for certain GI conditions, would be fasting. So I do go on fast here and there, and I realize that I never feel really good. Yes, if I'm intermittently fasting, I might feel okay. You get into this mode of like skipping breakfast and lunch in majority of cases, and you feeling okay. You're not feeling particularly hungry, but closer to the end of the day, you kind of run out of energy, and you do need your supply of nutrients. I tried to search for some research papers on cognitive functions, and there's not much, but there was this article by Rima Solianic and other co-authors, effects of 48-hour fasting on autonomic function, brain activity, cognition, and mood in amateur weightlifters. I'm kind of an amateur weightlifter, so that would be actually pretty much a spot-on article for me. And what they have found was that after a 48-hour fast, people do not feel particularly well. They're all cognitive indicators, they decline, they are not as sharp, not as focused, and not as emotionally well as you would expect. I'll definitely make a reference to this article in my blog at drsamshealth.com, but also I have a section there that talks about research articles, and I have like little digests of certain research stuff, and I think this article definitely deserves being placed there. So I'll have it there at my blog, drsamshealth.com. Again, subscribe, check it out. Actually, a good reminder to subscribe to my channel right now. Hit the like button, leave a comment, ask your questions. But today, what I would like to do is, on top of just talking about this stuff, I would like to make an experiment. Actually, I have already made this experiment like a month ago. I've been moving, and I couldn't actually wrap up everything into one coherent video, but right now I've got my studio set up. Actually, there'll be a video about that, and I had this experiment done over a month ago when I actually had a pretty neat meal. And actually the background of this would be the following. I've been following like low calorie, low carb diet, and that is a perfect example for or perfect situation for starting this kind of experiment, because I assume that people who are going on a 48-hour fast, they're not necessarily keto adapted, whereas I was keto adapted at that point, and I still am. I do test positive for ketones all the time and so on. So I decided to have a nice meal that will be low in carbs, but I get like 2,000 calories that night. And after that, I've been tracking my mood and my weight, of course, because I'm always thinking about weight loss. And I am able to show you a couple of videos from my experiences. So here we go. Let's start. Hey, here is the tomahawk steak, and I'm going to tell you about my plan. So I am going to make a video about my 48 hours fast, and the plan is to have a lot of meat today, a nice feast, not to overeat, but to have enough food not to feel like I'm fasting or I'm hungry. And tomorrow in the morning I'll weigh myself, I'll check a couple of parameters, and I'm going to start a 48-hour fast, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if the article I've been talking about actually makes sense, and if my personal experiences will match the information in the article. Wish me bon appetit and good luck, and I'll see you in my next snippet. April 29th, 2021, quick update on my fast. I checked my body weight today. It's my first morning since I started, and I was surprised to learn that I've lost around a pound of body weight. Surprised because normally I intermittently fast. I do not have my breakfast. I usually have my lunches every other day, not very regularly, and I usually eat in the evenings after I arrive home and I had my workout. Yesterday I had my ad libitum huge meal at around 3 p.m. and I had close to 2,000 calories. So it was not really different in terms of timing, but it was different in terms of caloric intake, which was higher than usual. So we're starting on a good note. Couple of things about my emotional and cognitive performance. I had lots of things to do yesterday and today in the morning in terms of my work and in terms of certain meetings and communications, and I noticed that I was very bored. I was, I cannot say depressed, but emotionally I was not there. Plus, I'm very stressed with a number of things happening in my life. I'm moving, I'm sending my parents away. There are lots of things that are beyond my control, and objectively they create a lot of anxiety, and I couldn't sleep well, and I was physically tired, and in general I think that I'm very stressed, and that kind of shows. So I wouldn't attribute that to fast, to be honest. And I also would not attribute my weight loss to this fast. Speaking of weight loss, there's a funny thing. I just realized that it doesn't make any sense to check your body weight right after the feast, but that would be the perfect baseline for the fast, right? So if you're measuring 48-hour fast and you are curious about how much weight you're going to lose in the 48 hours, it would totally make sense to check your body weight right after the feast, right? But it doesn't make sense doing it because you're artificially increasing your weight, and then 48 hours later you haven't had any food intake for that period of time. Obviously your weight will be lower, and that is why I decided to check my body weight yesterday in the morning and today in the morning, and I'll be checking it in the mornings consistently in a consistent fashion. But that leads me to another methodological problem, which is it will be difficult to capture the 48 period of fast. Likely to be like 60 hours, not 48. And on top of that, right now I'm approaching the 24-hour mark. So I checked my weight, my baseline weight at the 18-hour mark. So I hope it won't be a problem, but I think it's worth talking about. Finally, in terms of physical activity, I don't feel particularly well, but it's likely due to the stress, to the sleepless night, to all this non-exercise physical activities that I'm engaged in, and I'm following just a regular routine, at least as of this moment, and only tonight when I'm gonna skip my meal, and tomorrow in the morning I'll start feeling the effects of the fast, because that will be the unusual part for my body. Anyhow, I'm gonna keep moving things just because I have to. I'm gonna have my 10K steps a day, and I'm also going to have my 2 resistance trainings today and tomorrow. Quite frankly, I don't feel like that at all. Actually, I woke up today and I didn't feel rested at all, and I am not sure how my resistance exercise will go, but I will definitely have quite a few opportunities to test further my physical, emotional, and cognitive performance in the next 24-36 hours. So let's see how it works. April 30th, 2021, around 5 p.m., which means that we're just past the point of 48-hour fast. How do I feel? Not particularly great, I'll be honest with you. I did lose a couple of pounds since yesterday, which is a good thing, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna regain them in the next couple of days as soon as I restart eating. I'll likely make a follow-up video on that. I did have my workout yesterday, but I had to split it into 2 halves just because I was so exhausted. But to be honest, I also had to go from one place to another because I had to see my parents off, and there were lots of logistics around that. Plus I'm moving. By the way, sorry for this mess in the background. I'm moving. I've got lots of stuff to rearrange, and this is acoustic foam that I'm gonna put in my YouTube studio that I'm building in my new place. So I'll make a video about that. But returning to my well-being and my fast, I don't feel particularly well emotionally. I'm cognitively not there. I find it difficult to actually be able to be very efficient cognitively, to focus on my tasks. I had to stop by my workplace today just to do some paperwork, and I didn't feel like doing it. I had to do a clinical assessment, and that was fine, actually. There was nothing particularly special about it. But in general, the level of enthusiasm, energy, I all the time feel like I would rather go to bed and take a nap. So the plan is to have my second workout. Hopefully it will go better. The second thing I'm gonna do, or I would rather say I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna eat tonight, just because I want to see what will happen tomorrow in the morning, and I want to have a clear 48-hour period between my baseline weight measurement and the weight measurement 48 hours later. And that's my plan for the next 18 or so hours. Likely this fast will run into 72 hours, and of course I will make a short video on that too. So I'm done making videos for tonight or today, and I'm gonna work out, and I'll see you in my next snippet, which you will see right away. Well, it's past 3 p.m., so the fast is over, but the experiment isn't. And I'll explain. I've been fasting for 72 hours. I feel meh, to be honest. I don't feel particularly good. I don't have any energy. I'm hungry. I've got difficulties focusing. I feel tired, drained, and at the same time, I feel like I would kill for food, and likely I wouldn't be able to do anything because I don't have any energy. So I'm going to allow myself to have some food, but I've got this question, whether it's worth it or not to have this kind of fast. And in order to answer this question, I would like to know what's going to happen when I restart eating food. So I've lost 4 to 6 pounds, somewhere between that, over the course of these 3 days. And I wonder if some of this weight will be immediately regained as I start consuming food. So I'm going to experiment with that. And if most of this weight comes back, then quite frankly, I don't see much point in doing this kind of fasts for the weight, from the weight loss perspective. So I'm going to have a salad. I'm going to have some of this meat, which is pretty much leftovers from the barbecue that I had 3 days ago. And I wanted to say a couple of words about these eggs. These are duck eggs, and this is hilarious because I didn't buy them. I was literally offered them in the elevator just 10 minutes ago, and I think it's the universe's way of telling me that, Andre, you have to eat. And I'm not sure I'm going to have them today, but I would like to give a shout out to my neighbor Paul. Thank you for them. And I think it's time to wrap up this snippet, and I will let you know what happens with my weight as I restart eating foods in the next couple of days. And just a quick remark, I'm not going to have all of this meat. I will likely have just part of it so that I would stay within, say, 1,300-1,500 calories per day today and tomorrow, maybe the day after, so that I will return back to my low-calorie, low-carb diet that I've been following for a month. So now it's time to wrap up this snippet and have some of this meat. And of course, I'm going to have a little piece of this meat on camera. I'm so happy that the fast is over. You wouldn't believe it. Thank you for watching. So now you have seen me in action doing this fast for 72 hours effectively. I was very, very happy to stop this fast, to be honest. And I'm talking as somebody who has actually been fasting quite a few times in my life, who has been on intermittent fasting. And I can definitely attest to the fact that you do not feel particularly well. On top of that, 2 other things, actually 3. First, just to sum up the cognitive effects of the fast, your brain is not there. I do not know why people are saying that intermittent fasting or fasting is super helpful for mental clarity. I don't think it is. It's just like the fact that you're skipping a meal might prevent you from getting into this postprandial relaxation mode. And that's pretty much it. The second thing is weight loss. I will show you the actual chart of my weight. Yes, I have lost 4 to 6 pounds depending on how we measure my weight. Actually, it was a bit problematic because in this article it was okay. They didn't care whether people were keto adapted or not. They didn't care about weight loss or gain. They cared about cognition. In my case, I also cared about weight, and it's nearly impossible to actually set this experiment up because of the food timing and measurement timing. It's hard to kind of align them. I won't dwell too much on that, but my point is, the second point is that cognition is not there. Cognitively, emotionally, I was not there. I had quite a few situations when I needed mental clarity and it wasn't there. And also I had a couple of situations when normally I would react rather strongly, and I literally was not able to. I was feeling like cognitively and emotionally blunt. It was just like, okay, people are doing something stupid, people are doing something very annoying, and I was not even able to get annoyed. Maybe it's a good thing for the humanity in general. But the third thing that I would like to mention is I'm losing weight and also I'm trying to gain muscle. And I think it's very detrimental for you to go on such fasts when you are trying to build muscle while losing weight. You are in need of protein, and I cannot prove it right now with any kind of research. I cannot back it up, but just basic understanding of the processes that are happening in our systems is uh, short fasts likely are using up all the glycogen first, and then they start mobilizing fat and protein. And it is fine when we mobilize fat, but it's not really fine that we mobilize protein, because the only source of protein realistically is our organs and muscles, and obviously your body is not gonna self-digest your internal organs. It will sacrifice muscles. So I think that this fast might be associated with muscle wasting, and it feels like I should make another video. So it will be another video, and I will do some research on that. Again, my experiences were there for you, and I was not a big fan of this fast. If you disagree with me, feel free to share your experiences either on my website or here on YouTube. Post a comment, ask a question, argue with me. I actually love arguing in a way, as long as it's constructive. I don't even mind making some sort of a follow-up video with all the comments and just addressing the comments and questions that people ask. And that would be it for today. Thank you for watching. As always, thank you for being subscribers. If you have been a subscriber, if you haven't been one, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell, check it out, check my website, Dr. Sam's Health, leave comments, and off we go. Have a wonderful time. All the best.